Paltrocast.
How's your day going aside from having to talk to media people asking you the same questions about after the party again and again and again?
Luckily, I like to talk about myself, so it's fine.
There you go. Are you dialing in from New York these days?
I'm in my apartment in Brooklyn.
Nice. I mean, I'm gonna ask you stuff about Long Island later. You can't renounce the Long Island roots, but
It's obviously, I can't
yeah, there you go. But hey,
go on Long Island.
I'm from Long Beach, which is kind of the opposite end of where you grew up.
Everybody's from Long Beach.
Really?
Anybody I talk to from Long Island is like always from that area. Like nobody's ever from where I'm from, out east. Yeah.
Where you're from out east, I mean, a lot of
Stony
celebrities
Brook.
move in there.
No, I'm not from the Hamptons. I mean, I've been to the Hamptons, but I'm not
No,
from the Hamptons.
to talk it. I mean, Dee Snider was there for a lot of
That
years.
is true.
Mick
And
Foley
Zebra.
and
I shared a backyard. Our fences touched. I was friends with his daughter, Randy Jackson's daughter, Christy.
Small world. I mean, he was on a Warner label for a long time. You survived Warner Records stuff. Did you ever talk shop about that?
No, when I was a kid, I moved out of I don't know where everybody went. He could still be there. I don't know, but we sold that house ages ago.
But hey, the present here. After the party, new record. When did you actually finish it?
When was it finished? And last year, like before the end of the year, we probably finished mixing it. And then, it takes a little while for things to just get going.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the video that
The rollout. That's what I was trying to think of.
yeah, you have the publicist that goes, I need at least a 3-month commitment in window, even though the press release takes them about 40 minutes to send out. But anyway,
Yeah, but photos, album covers, videos, all the stuff, that's harder, I think, than
deliverables, I think we call it.
content. No.
Content, deliverables. All the stuff,
Deliverables, that's a great that's yeah.
all the stuff that's the exact opposite of why you started doing this, the waiting around and the industry stuff.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, all of that makes it's just you have to do it. It's just part of it, like all the posting and the putting yourself onto, the content and all that stuff. It's just part of it all. But then I
Well,
get to talk to nice people like you, so that's fine.
oh, you flatter, but you got these upcoming dates. It's a city winery kind of stuff. It's always fascinating to me that you play those, and then because of your old Who ties and all that, you play Madison Square Garden and you play City Winery. In other words, you have your intimate singer-songwritery kind of show, and then you have your, well, we have to rock a little harder and change the setup and play to a lot more people kind of stuff. Do you enjoy
That's
having
not
those?
how it goes.
That's not how it
Not
goes.
quite how it goes. I mean, the Who invited me to come and play Madison Square Garden. It's not like I'm going to do a rock band tonight. I'm going to book Madison Square Garden. But
Well,
I love that's your thinking, and we should actually just go with that. It's way more fun than the reality of it.
well, it's comparable to who also opens for Roger and the Who, Dan Byrne. He
Mhm.
he has that same kind of thing where here's the singer-songwriter thing, and then okay, well, these audiences are not going to be the most patient. I have to change it up. That's where I was going with that one. That you're
Right.
ready for the big shows when you need them.
I did it actually a duo acoustic when I did Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
I know that's bonkers, right?
that's fairly unheard of.
It's unhinged.
Okay, so where I was going with that is I was curious if you had like different set configurations that you had ready at any time.
I mean, I do a lot of solo shows, I got my one woman act. I, sing some songs, talk some shit. That's my thing. And then I have my co-writer, Steve McEwan, who also comes out. We do duo stuff. But this next show, a City Winery I'm doing on Wednesday, is gonna have a full band because I did the record as a full band. I think it would be really fun to just, that's my goal. Like my whole, like to have like a really nice, you could do intimate stuff, but you have the band as well. So that's always what I'm trying to think of as far as like building the future and what's possible.
Got it. What does the set look like these days? Because there's the pressure to like, I got to put the new album in there, but at the same time, the people want to hear the old
Do
favorites.
it all. That's exactly right. I'll do a handful from each record and then I'll do some covers and then some stuff that I've written that might not have been recorded but goes over well live. But this album, this gig coming up on next Wednesday, well, I'm gonna do the record.
Oh wow! In
Yeah.
order,
Yeah.
when you do that kind of thing, that sounds like you actually do have to do a lot of rehearsals.
Well, I got together yesterday with the bass player and Adam Minkoff, who's amazing musician and singer, bass player, singer, and it's great because so we did like a vocal rehearsal, and so Steve, Adam, and myself got together and we just kind of went through the album, looked at the tunes, did a lot of three-part harmony, so we got to work on that, and then I'll do a handful of stuff afterwards. But yeah, we're gonna do another. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like everybody that I've asked to be a part of this, they're such good musicians. So even if we didn't rehearse, it would still be fine. I like rehearsing because I like to get an order and a flow, and I haven't actually played with a band. I mean, I've done stuff with bands, but my actual own show of like a 90-minute show with a band is going to be like this is the first time for a while. So there is a little. I need a little prep, but these guys they're fine.
The Steve that you mentioned in your band is McEwan.
Yeah, Steve McEwan.
So the first time I saw Steve McEwan live, he was opening for the Who at Jones Beach in Un-American.
You saw that?
I
Oh,
saw that.
that's wild.
And so, do you have that bond that you both suffered opening for the Who in New York City arenas?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think there's like that nightmare that you get before you do something that big of just like everything that could go wrong like when you're in front of somebody, like when you're in front of that many people and like your amp doesn't work or your mic, like something terrible could go wrong. But luckily I didn't. I think it went badly for Steve once. I think like he had his first gig because he opened for the Who long before, not that long before I met him, but and I think his amp didn't work or something on one of the gigs. It was like the nightmare scenario, like on one of them. I'll have to ask him exactly, but I think that happened.
That show I was at, I think, was the first time in 20-ish years that Pete Townsend smashed a guitar. He saved that for Jones Beach, of all places. Nothing ever happens at the Jones Beach show.
Strong Island.
Yeah, exactly. Well, back to you here and Long Island. A point of curiosity for me is the Long Island music scene, I find, does not embrace Long Island native artists. So therefore, you're an artist like Amani Coppola, who no one thinks of as a Long Island artist, even though they had the major label deal and have toured the world. Did you actually gig much on Long Island?
I did. I mean, when I first started playing, I was doing open mics. I would play. I mean, there was a big like Grateful Dead kind of jam scene when I was just getting out of high school, and that people were. I mean, well, the Dead, Jerry had already died, but people, were
Right.
still play that music, so it doesn't matter, and I feel like there was that. I was writing originals, but I kind of got into a band that was more rock and roll, but we did do a little bit of jamming. But I did love like the jam adjacent stuff, or like people that were just actually doing Grateful Dead covers, because that's where I learned about the Grateful Dead, like listening to these bands play, and I'm just like, oh my God, their songs are so good. I never saw the Dead, never going to. But
Right.
yeah, but as far as artists, I think that there's a bunch of artists, and I think there is a scene out there. I think that is that what was the question? Is there a scene, or you're just saying like embracing artists and original music? I think people do.
Well, I was going, did you play on Long Island much?
Yeah.
Because nowadays there's a proper venue every 3 or 4 towns on Long Island.
Yeah.
There's the Paramount, and there's that one in Bayshore, and the Patchogue one, and
I did
Mulcahy.
that one years ago with, Andy Falco, who's like a local, well, he's he's from Long Island, but he's done so well with the Infamous String Dusters, Grammy Award winning, and we've done some stuff together, and we did a show at Bayshore, and I played at West Hampton. I'm doing the Talk House this summer, August 4th. I'm playing at Stephen Talkhouse, and that place is amazing because you get these incredible artists. And it's an intimate
Yeah.
venue. I love that. But yeah,
I,
I'd love
I
to
think the
play
talk.
Paramount sometime. I've never played there.
Okay. Goals for one day. There you go. So,
What's that? Like
so,
that.
so long term, with this record, I would assume that the plan is to have another one in a couple of years. In the meantime, do your usual, 5 to 10 gigs a month. Is that the long term plan?
I'm perpetually on tour, it seems like, which is fine for me. I like keeping busy. I love playing. So yeah, I'm just gonna play until I'm already thinking about what to do next. You have to, I think. And it's probably healthy. I mean, it's obviously there's time to take off in between, but just keep thinking about the next stuff.
Makes sense to me. So two more dumb questions, and then I'll let you go.
Dumb.
The first thing is, all we really know about you is the music. The music's great. Into the music, that's kind of it. What's the main passion away from all the music for you? Is there a big hobby? Is there a side hustle? Is there anything like that?
I don't have a side hustle. No, worrying. Just stressing out and worrying about all the other stuff is probably my side hustle.
Well,
I
sometimes in the side hustle end, you find out that the person has a nonprofit that they're always involved with, or
not
they're
that good
they're
of a person.
they're secretly a golf or a racing or a tennis person.
I can play a little tennis, but I wouldn't call myself a tennis player. I like to run. I live right by Prospect Park, so I'm always like, doing a little run there. Yeah, but just I like books and movies and stuff like that. So
Got it. And then what's the last concert that you went to as a fan? Not because you might be popping up on stage.
Hosier. How do you say his name?
I still don't know how to say it. I have the feeling there's
It's
the Irish way and then there's the
yeah,
American way to say it.
Hosier. Well, I'll tell you, he was amazing. Oh, I saw the Stones last week.
Wow.
Yeah, but Hosier was incredible. I saw him at Forest Hills, and he put on such a good show. I didn't know what to expect, and I loved it. His songs were great. He was great. His band was great. He talked, everything that came out of his mouth was intelligent and thoughtful, and I loved it. And then the Stones was just a really good time. So last week I opened for Roger Daltrey in Philadelphia. And so I was like, well, I saw that the Stones were playing the next day. So I'm like, I am staying over in Philly because I haven't seen the Stones since I don't know, I think I was in high school. So it's been, 100 years. And I just wanted to see them. I don't know how many more tours they're going to do. And it was so much fun. So yeah, I've seen a couple of things.
So even your concerts alternate between the arenas and the coffee shop or
Oh,
singer-songwriter city winery stage.
absolutely. I mean, they've they run those happen to be two of the bigger shows because it is summertime and things are just booming. But I would anytime that I can catch a show at even like Webster Hall or there's so many beautiful theaters that keep popping up. I went uptown to that, I forget what it's called, but it's way uptown in like the 170s, and I saw Morrissey there.
United Palace, is that?
United Palace. That was amazing, and that felt like an intimate venue for somebody like Morrissey. It was just really fun, and yeah,
He was on his best behavior. He didn't walk off.
I was disappointed that he was on his best behavior because I really like when he talks, when
Yeah,
he opens his mouth. He's got a lot to say and he says it well. Like I like people like Liam Gallagher, like they just open their mouth and it's just funny. They talk shit and I love it.
you like your British Axl Roses. That's what I'm hearing. But well, actually, I didn't. I should have asked this because this, I told you two
Axl
questions.
Rose is just I don't know what his deal is. I've never seen him live. Not that I wouldn't. I was a big Guns N' Roses fan.
That is actually one thing I meant to ask you but didn't. Did you start off as a hard rock Van Halen, Kiss, Guns N' Roses person, and then you got into Carole King and all that?
I like it all. I mean, my music taste is very eclectic. I was listening to Nirvana and Carly Simon. It just doesn't matter. Like it's a good song is a good song.
I
And I
think
love Van Halen. Rush was like one of my first concerts, even though I don't really listen to them that much. They just happen to be one of my, I was super into Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones was a huge thing. But yeah, like some of that 80s, those great bands like Van Halen and Guns N' Roses, I was well into them.
I think that that is a song title right there, Nirvana and Carly Simon, and I look forward to that in your
Walk
next.
into a bar.
There you go. But ending here with a compliment. Thank you for the many years of great music. Looking forward to what's to come in the future. But in the meantime, thank you for your time, Leslie.
Thank you. That was so nice to meet you.
Paltrocast.